Hi, welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about authoring for Microsoft Stream. It's just another way of saying being a content creator and using your Stream account to upload videos, manage your videos. Already talked about in a previous video about using Microsoft Stream. So if you haven't seen that video, please go back, take a look at it. That video talks about what Stream is, uh, how you use it, how you interact with video content, and basically work with Stream as an end user, not someone who's going outside creating a video and then uploading that content. That is what this video is all about. So we're gonna just dive right on in. Won't really spend a lot of time talking about Stream itself, how to get to it or anything like that. As you can see here, I'm already at the Office portal and firing up the Stream application in the portal. Um, the area that we're going to focus on here is really your My Content area. And your content in Stream is very similar to working with content in, say, an application like Forms, where you have content that's individual. It's the video content that you have uploaded under your user account. You have ownership of that content and can edit and manage it. And then there's content that you upload in the context of a group, and in that way, the group becomes the owner of that content, and anyone who's a member of that group can edit and contribute and work with that content as well. So as you work with content and develop content, it's going to be important for you to know what context you want to upload that content and work with it from, because there are definitely viable use cases in both situations. There's content you just want to set up there personally for whatever reason, maybe some project you're working on, or like what I'm doing now, building instructional videos that you're kind of putting out for everyone. But there's also situations where you may be collaborating on some video content for a project. Maybe you're rolling out a product and you're putting out some help videos, things like that. You want to collaborate, and therefore it needs to exist within a group context. And may say you've created a group within Microsoft Teams, and then the people of that team are going to edit and work with the content in a collaborative way. Those are kind of the two big use cases or scenarios that you'll work with content in Stream. Um, and unlike some of the other applications, that doesn't really have an impact on the data storage. Your storage is still in an optimized Azure storage location. Really, what you're talking about is ownership and editing permissions to the video content. Uh, Throughout this video, I'm going to just focus on the individual experience, me as a content author, as a content creator, uploading things in my account, sharing it out, looking at just kind of organizing things and looking at statistics, that sort of thing. Working with a group isn't any different. You're just the only difference is really where you upload it to and who else can access it. So I don't think this video really needs to dig too much into uh, that distinction. Um, One area I will distinguish between is videos and channels, but I'm going to wait a bit to get to the channel part. I'm going to start with looking at the video content itself and what you as a content creator can do in Stream with your video content and everything. So when you go through My Content and you look at videos, groups, channels, this menu here, and it's replicated in the toolbar across the top, is really showing you different views of the content that you have access to. And I start out by making that distinction between individual and groups. You see it right here. When you go to groups, I'm shown a list of the groups that are out there, and then I can go in those groups and then begin working with the videos that are in those groups. Channels, I'm going to spend a little more time talking about channels in a little bit. They're really lists of organized content. Say your watch list is watch list and follow channels. That's part of your personal user space. So go back and watch the previous video if you really want to understand those. It's really not that hard. It's not different from how YouTube lets you follow channels and set up your own watch list as well. So I don't think there's a lot that you need to do. In your video section, so let's step back and talk about what you're really interested in as a content author. At some point, you've gone out and you've created content that will be streamed in video, like as I say, like I'm doing with these videos. You've used some other set of applications and tools to create those videos. Stream is the publishing platform. This is where you're going to upload the videos and make them available to your internal audience. As I pointed out in the last video, Stream is not public like YouTube is. Stream is only for an enterprise application. So when we talk about your viewers and your audience, you really are talking about those people in your organization um, who are viewing this. Adding content to your account is a very easy process. It's as simple as going to the create menu and selecting upload video, or finding the link here on the upper right hand side that says browse to upload. You can click and that'll open up the browse. There's also an upload button up in the far upper right corner that takes you to the to this screen, which is really no different than that other link that was on the previous page. Um, I'm going to find and upload a short video. So this next step won't be terrible. These are all videos that you've probably seen in my YouTube channel. So I'm just going back and kind of, I'm reusing those same videos, but in Stream now. So for this one, I'm going to use the Stack Overflow connector because that was a very short video. Didn't take very much time at all. So the next step of this should not take very long. And you'll see as soon as I select the video and start it, it will start uploading. And it says uploading one video. You see the progress bar. The reason I selected a short video is because this is the encoding process, and there's a lot of things that happen during encoding. Obviously, it's encoding for video streaming. It's optimizing your video. It's doing a lot of compression. It's also sending this video through some Azure Cognitive Services. It's sending it through the text recognition service to build a transcript for your video. It's also sending it through the people recognition service or the face recognition service to build the people timeline in case there are people in your video who are also part of your organization. That way it will tag their IDs. So this is all happening while this progress bar is going through. So if you have a 40-minute video or a 60-minute video that you're uploading, or a nice big juicy 4K video, plan on this process taking a long time, half hour, 45 minutes, maybe longer. Um, uh, that's not an unusual time frame to have this work. Um, as you see with such a short video, it uploaded fast. Now the processing is where it's going through cognitive services and doing other things. This will be a little bit slower, but while we're waiting on that, we can look at some of the other aspects of uploading your content and managing the content. Obviously, you're going to need some kind of a title and description that people can read on that list screen, or on some of the other pages where your video might show up, or when they watch the video, this description will show up below that video. So it's helpful to be very descriptive, to really tell what your video is about, what the content is. I like, sometimes I give outlines of the content that's in it. You see here, even in the help text, it says use hashtags. Um, and that helps people to do searches for your video content. In this case, I'm not going to be extensive. I'm not going to be terribly careful about doing this, but I would suggest if you're doing this in a real life production environment, that you do spend some time on your name, on your title, and the description to make sure that viewers of your video really are going to understand what is going on with this video. This really is, in the YouTube terms, that's part of what really gets some views. If the description's not very good, people aren't going to really watch the video, perhaps. And it's also like anything else. first few sentences make the difference. They say that with novel writing, that the first paragraph is the most important one. That's what hooks your reader. This is the same here. If your description doesn't hook the viewer in a few sentences, you may not get the views of your videos that you would otherwise expect or hope to have. In this case, I'm just going to put this. This is a video about a connector. So, like I say, not a good description, kind of a terrible one. You'll see you can pick a language for it. The language you choose here is going to be kind of important to that transcript service. Whatever language you get here is what the transcript's going to come back as. And we'll talk about the transcription service in a little bit. You can add languages and get additional transcripts in multiple languages if that's something you want to do. But here you're hitting the default. You're hitting what's the basic, and so I'm going to stick with English. The next section is your thumbnails. As the video uploads, Stream will, just like YouTube, pull out random screenshots to present as possible thumbnails, or you can hit the plus button to have a custom thumbnail included. And so I have, for all of mine, a custom thumbnail that I select. It's just a PNG file that I've made in Photoshop, but that's what I like to use for my splash screen thumbnail, and it's just a matter of uploading it. The next section is getting down to the permissions, and you can, the way this works is you could either set the video, which is by default, to everyone in the organization. It lets everyone who's a part of your tenant view it, or you can remove that and share with just groups or specific people. And as you do, you can, you'll get your Active Directory drop down, and those people will be added to your list of viewers, and these are the people that can see it. Now, these videos that I'm throwing up are really kind of a for everybody type video, but if I was, some things I might be doing videos on that I do want to limit that audience, and so I can do so here. As I upload the video, I can select who I am exactly sharing this with initially, and this can all be changed later on, but this is good to set right up front. Maybe if you have some kind of internal approval process or something like that, you may have a kind of a policy where you're uploading to just people on your team and your boss. You get approvals from everybody, and then you can open it up to everyone. Kind of a draft mode sort of thing. And then the last part is really your options. You can see there's a people option. This is the one. This is the people timeline. If you turn it off, that person timeline won't appear on your video. The people timeline is if your video has, say, your coworkers in it, and those coworkers, they have accounts in Azure Active Directory with pictures. This will go through and it will identify those people, and it'll give a timeline of when those people show up in the video. May be helpful in some circumstances to have that kind of information available. Um, I think about like seminars or a company meeting where you have multiple people speaking, and you want to go back and you want to view a certain part of the video where Jane Doe was speaking in that seminar. The people timeline can be very helpful for the end user to be able to go right to where Jane was giving her section, her comments, or her portion of the video. Comments on and off. In social media, this is probably a little more important than maybe in an organization, but you may not want people to comment on your video. It may not be the appropriate place, or there may be other business reasons why for a particular video, you don't want people commenting on it. This is where you can turn that off, and it will restrict comments. If it's on, it lets everyone comment on your video like any other social platform, and everything. So that's really kind of it. You can see my video is still processing. And we've spent a few minutes here, quite a few minutes, just talking through these details, and it's still going. Well, I'm going to go ahead and hit publish. and it will continue in the background to process this, and it may take a few seconds. So we'll go back to my content and see what shows up. And well, there we go. We've got it. It's that video that I just uploaded is showing now. Um, I'm going to go into the video, and this is an area that I covered in a little bit um, in the previous video. But you'll notice a couple of things here that I'll point out. When we left the last page, it was still processing. You'll see here that the transcript portion is not yet visible. That's because it's still going through Microsoft Text Recognition Service. My videos don't have any people in them, uh, so even when it's done processing, there will not be a people timeline, but this is where that person timeline would show. But it would be the same story as the transcript. Right now, it's too early. It's still processing. That stage in this publication process can take quite some time. So don't be surprised if, as you're uploading content, you see certain things that just don't appear for ages. That's pretty normal. But I'll kind of step through here and give you a couple examples of ones that are finished and do have that content. And we'll see here on this video that's been out there for a while, I do have a people tab and the transcript is available. As I talked about in the previous video. Now you'll see the people timeline's not available because I have no people in it, but those tabs are there. They are available because this video has fully processed. My other video just, oh, people just popped up. So part of it's processed, but transcript is still not there. Um, so that's something to keep in mind as a content. The next thing I want to look at is before we get into really doing a lot of management and organization of the video, there is one aspect of content creation that exists within the stream application I want to spend a little bit of time on, and that's this interactivity tab. Interactivity is a tab that works with Microsoft Forms, the Forms application, that allows you to insert a form into your video at any place. So what I want to do here is I want to show you how that works. And I'm going to do it by going to the very end of the video. And I'm going to add a quiz at the end of the video about this Teams connector. So you'll see here, after you've clicked the button, you can either, if you've already created the form in Forms, you can put the URL right in here. Or if you click the little kind of help icon off to the side, it gives you a link to go to Forms. I mean, and it's telling you that you need to copy the URL. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bounce out the Forms real quick, and I'm going to create my quiz. And so I'm going to say I've got a quiz, and this is the um, this is the let's go the using Stack Overflow connector. And I'm just going to add a couple of questions to this quiz. We don't need to really spend a lot of time learning forms. I'm demonstrating how this fits into Stream. I just didn't have this thing uh, in. I didn't have this form created before I started this video. So you get to watch me create a form and integrate it rather than me having everything all production ready, so to speak. So I'm going to add. I did not want maybe. I wanted yes, no. Yes is the correct answer. I'm going to give it 1 point. I'm going to add another one. I'll just do another. Same thing, another yes, no answer. Yes is the correct answer, and I'll give it a point. So there it is. That's my That is my quiz, and I need this URL when I'm sharing. I'm going to only share with people in my organization because I can share the form itself with anyone in the world, but since Stream is limited to my organization, there's really no point doing it. Now I will go back to Stream, where I was working with my video, now that I have the form. And so I'm going to put this quiz at the very end of the video. Go to interactivity, I'm going to add the form, and I just pasted in the URL using Control V. I could have right clicked and hit paste so that you can see it. And then you got to give it a name of some kind. I'll just call it Final Quiz, and then add to the timeline. And now I've added some interactivity using Microsoft Forms. So the way this works is the first time a viewer watches the video, when they get to this end, they get this 1057 timeline, that form will automatically pop up asking the user to fill it out. Let's see how that works here. And voila, the video gets to the end, takes a moment for the form to load. Hopefully in a production environment, it doesn't always happen that as slow as that one did, but here you go. You see the quick quiz that you can add, that the user can answer at the end. They fill out the form, hit submit. That will record the responses in Microsoft Forms, and then the user will return to the video. As you see, that this is still within Forms, so they could view their results, or they can click the continue to video result. But you see, I look at the results, I got 2 out of 2. Looks good. Continue video, and I'm at the end of the video. The video's finished. I could have put some of that stuff in the middle here. I could have thrown a form right in the center, kind of a pop quiz type thing, a final quiz. However you want to do that kind of interactivity within your video, you can do that, and it's a nice, to me, it's a nice feature of Stream, especially since most of my videos are instructional videos. The idea of being able to throw in some pop quizzes, or at the very end of one of those, how to rate my video things, how did you think about, what did you think of this video, sort of thing. That's a very handy feature that you can work with. Um, Keep in mind, these are actual forms in your Forms app, so you don't have to use them just in the video. If you want to make it usable in other places, you can do that as well. So that, in a nutshell, is content creation, the content creation side. Let's look a little bit at content management. Probably the type of content management you'll use most frequently is creating channels. So, for example, I created a channel called Introduction to Office 365. To organize all of my instructional videos for Office 365. It's just a curated channel. If I wanted people to view these videos in a certain order, I would list them in that particular order. Uh, End users can follow this channel. So as I upload videos or put videos into my channel, they'll be made aware of it. Um, so when I'm managing my video content, I have the option to add this content to a group or a channel. And in this case, I'm going to go ahead and type a little bit, and I save it right into my introduction channel, and now that video is included in that curated list as well. The last thing I want to look at are the aggregated statistics about your videos. And these will be the things that tell you how your viewers are interacting with your video, and whether it's positive, whether it's negative, whatnot. Those statistics show up in two places. In the video listing, so we're still in my channel here, and we can see in the list of videos under the stats column the number of views, the number of likes, and the comments that are associated with these videos. And as you can see, those statistics for these videos are rather low, and we don't have any likes or comments, because in this environment there's not a lot of usage, not a lot of interactivity. Even if I go up to the top level, look at all videos in this tenant, you see the numbers are very small. We got a couple of purposeful likes and a couple purposeful comments, just to have some statistics out here. But in a production environment, you'll see a lot larger numbers, and as a content author, you'll probably need to pay attention to those numbers, particularly if you're putting out maybe a training video or some kind of other video that you expect a certain number of people to view it. You may not get like a lot of likes and comments in an enterprise environment like this, but you do at least want to be able to track the number of views and how well your video is performing in your environment. Because if those views are not going up, you may have to look at some issues of, are people getting the link to it? Is there a permissions issue? Uh, I mentioned earlier about writing a good description about your video, and the fact that if that description doesn't tell people what they need to know, or the title, then somewhat you may have a video that you want people to see, but they may not realize that that particular video is the one that they're supposed to be viewing, because the title's not, or the title and description are not quite accurate. So looking at these aggregated statistics at this level is probably going to be very helpful to you as a content author. The other place where this shows up is obviously in the video itself. You'll be able to see both the aggregated statistics and the actual comments, rather than seeing a number of comment. Well, you can see the number of comments at the top, but you'll see the list of comments in the thread. In the analytics tab is where you get the rest of the aggregated statistics. Um, you may notice in my environment, I've got this link to Collective Analytics Reports. Collective is a third-party add-on product for Stream. It does basically local stream buffering. It's a peer-to-peer solution for areas that may have limited bandwidth, things like that. So I'm not going to show this because you probably do not have that option in your environment. And that's it. That is content authoring for Stream. It's a pretty straightforward process of uploading videos, managing the metadata about the videos, and then watching the aggregated statistics over time to see how your videos perform. Um, if you need the user's point of view, there is another video on using Stream, so please go back, give that one a look as well. As usual, if you like the content of this video, please share it out there, and I look forward to speaking to you again. Thank you.